Right now, celebrating Black joy, agriculture, and community in Dane County. We take you to Urban Triage's Harvest Festival and why they say it's important to highlight urban agriculture and collaboration and Black economic empowerment. But first, the Diocese of Madison responds to claims that they did not do enough after one of their priests was accused of sexual assault in 2024, why the bishop is saying he could not do anything at the time. Plus, the Badgers demolish Middle Tennessee today. Andrew has your highlights and catches up with the players after their two-game streak in sports. Welcome to News 3 Now at 10. Well, good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Armand Rahman. Jalen has the night off. We begin tonight with our continuing coverage of the Madison priest charged with child sex crimes and accused of sexual assault. The Diocese of Madison pushing back, saying they had no knowledge it was Father Andrew Showers who was accused of sexually assaulting a woman in Chicago in 2024. On Thursday, Patricia Moriarty claimed that last January, Showers groped her and used sexually aggressive language while she and others were at a public establishment in Chicago. Moriarty and her father said that after the alleged incident, they went to the Diocese of Madison, reported the assault, and requested to speak with Bishop Donald Hying, who did not get in touch with them. Tonight, the diocese said Mr. Moriarty did report the assault by a priest to the diocese, but allegedly would not discuss more details or the identity of the priest because he wanted to speak to the bishop. According to the diocese, it is against protocol to have the bishop speak to witnesses in sexual assault cases to protect the integrity of police investigations. The diocese claimed it asked Moriarty's father to share the police report and priest's name with their victim assistance coordinator, but he refused. The diocese also said the DOJ never contacted them about allegations against Showers. The diocese said, had they known Father Showers was the one accused, quote, immediate action could and would have been taken. Bishop Donald Hying echoed those sentiments in a letter today following the diocese statement in which he said, quote, regarding this latest allegation, had we known the identity of the priest being accused of this abusive misconduct, he would have been removed from active public ministry immediately. The bishop went on to say the diocese did not post Showers' bail or release from jail, adding, quote, furthermore, Father Showers is solely responsible for his criminal legal defense and its related expenses. The diocese is not providing him legal representation. And the bishop claimed that the victim advocacy groups Nate's Mission and Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests, or SNAP, painted an untrue and scandalous version of events. A representative from Nate's Mission responded, along with John Moriarty, the victim's father in question. Nate's Mission calling the diocese and bishop's claims, quote, a textbook example of victim blaming. John Moriarty says, quote, I've never been in this situation before. The truth is the diocese had more than enough details to act if they wanted to, and Bishop Hying refused to return my call. My daughter deserved protection, and so did every other person Father Showers came into contact with after my call. The diocese failed us, and they failed the public, end quote. The diocese also addressed the 2021 complaint against Showers that was not prosecuted, and Nate's Mission responded to that as well. We have more from those full statements online on channel2000.com, where you can take a look at our previous coverage of Showers' arrest and follow the latest in this developing story. Well, the Badgers secured another win today at Camp Randall as they blew the Blue Raiders of Middle Tennessee out of the water. Andrew Banstra has a recap.
It wasn't always pretty, but it was a win. And for Luke Fickell, that will work just fine. The Wisconsin Badgers are off to a 2-0 start, thanks in large part to their backup quarterback making his first start as a Wisconsin Badger. That's right, Danny O'Neal at the helm for Wisconsin, and boy, did he look confident. 283 yards through the air for the QB, which is a record for a Wisconsin Badger in his first start under center. Add in a trio of touchdowns and just 4 incompletions, and you could say today was the Danny O'Neal show.
I think that he settled in, did a much better job of having still that confidence level, but I think that his ability to be a little bit more under control and do the things we're asking him to do, I think that's what I was as impressed with as anything.
We're roommates, so, me and him was just talking through, just going over some film. Okay, if we see this, we'll get this, you'll do this, and, I feel like he executed at a high level, and, damn, man, he's the guy. So.
Like we mentioned, it wasn't all pretty. We'll dive into some of the uglier stuff coming up in sports, but we can confidently tell you for now that it was a Wisconsin win, 42-10.
All right, thanks, Andrew. Stick around. More on that Badger game later on in sports. And it was a nice day to get out and watch some football. Very pleasant fall weather. Isn't that right, Blaze?
It was. You know, temperatures were in the upper 50s to low 60s. Now we're beginning to slip into the low 40s. Camp Douglas at 44. Black River Falls, we're near in the upper 30s. We're sitting at 41 right now. Madison 50, 52 in Monroe, 46 in Janesville. It's 48 Cross Plains, Middleton, and Waunakee. We're all eventually going to settle into more of those low 40s overnight with a few upper 30s underneath clear to mostly clear conditions. But that's not really as cold compared to, say, for folks further north across the Dakotas, Minnesota, even northwestern Wisconsin underneath frost advisories. Freeze warning there near International Falls until Sunday morning. So that's just emphasizing how cold this recent air is being as it's pulled down and put overhead. So here's a look at where we're expected to end overnight, upper 30s to low 40s. The fall-like conditions continue into Sunday, but then we start to warm on up. We'll take a look at just how warm we get and how long we stay warm in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze, thank you. And today, Marquette University announcing that the 2 men killed in a car crash yesterday afternoon were lacrosse players for the university's team. All weekend events have been canceled as a result. On Friday around 5 p.m., a 41-year-old driver collided with Noah Snyder and Scott Mishaw's vehicle. They were pronounced dead at the scene. 4 other occupants received non-life-threatening injuries and were treated on scene and at local hospitals. Nearby residents say the crash shows how dangerous local roads can be.
Over here, so much speeding going on, you see it all the time. You see accidents here. I've been over here like 25 years. I done had to replace that fence, this one 15 times. And you see a lot of accidents. Ambulance coming through, the truck, the front end, it knocked over, the pole knocked down. So it's a lot of speeding coming through here.
And the university says 3 of the 4 injured were also lacrosse student athletes. They held a mass today in remembrance and are offering resources to support affected students. The driver was taken into custody and an investigation is ongoing. Criminal charges are pending review by the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office. Well, summer is coming to an end and many people are starting to embrace the fall. Right now, there's a ton of people at Harvest Festival tonight in Verona. It was a free event hosted by Urban Triage that was giving out free produce. Our Tanisha Shaw has more.
These drummers are blessing farmland in Verona and welcoming the fall season.
Bringing people who have never seen this space before to it so they can experience it, celebrate it with us. There are very few spaces like our Harvest Festival at this particular farm, the Farley Center.
Here you can see people enjoying live music while enjoying family-friendly events and getting some free, fresh fall produce.
I think it's very cool, to be honest. There's like a lot of activities for little kids and big kids and adults. Like they can go over there and drink the wine.
According to the kids at the festival, there is a lot to enjoy.
My first favorite part is about the face painting. The cotton candy and the bouncy house. The cotton candy.
Why was the cotton candy your favorite part?
Because the cotton candy is sweet. And it melts in your mouth.
And the weather's just right, and I feel like, you know, everybody just loves it.
The diversity at this festival stood out to a lot of people that I spoke to.
Culture, like dancing and stuff.
I think the food and also the diversity here, because there are a lot of Black people, and I love that personally.
Urban Triage's agricultural program manager said the nonprofit intentionally hosts this event and all of their ag programs at this farm for that exact reason.
So we strive to make sure that it is accessible, especially for our Black community. So the fact that they love seeing so many people who look like them out here is exactly what we're aiming to do. And just to celebrate, yeah. Everybody deserves to have access to land like this.
If you weren't able to join the fun Saturday, Urban Triage wants everyone to know that this land is available for tours throughout the year. Reporting in Verona, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanisha, thank you. And this weekend, the Ironman Triathlon is taking place across Dane County. Starting at 7 in the morning today, participants swam a mile, biked 53 miles, and ran 13 around the city as part of the half Ironman. The route takes them all over the county, from swimming in Lake Monona by the Terrace to Oregon and even further. There were plenty of supporters turning out this morning to cheer out for their loved ones.
My mom is racing. She's been training for at least a year now. She's really trying hard today, and I wish her luck.
Always rooting for him during his bike rides and stuff, so making him breakfast and stuff. Great job, Dad. I'm very proud of you.
And we are very proud of all those athletes, too, including our own Ellie La Liberté's mother, Terry, who finished in under 8 hours today. The full Ironman will begin at 7 tomorrow morning and finish by midnight on Monday. And a reminder that Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard is closed to traffic for the remainder of the event. It will reopen by 2 p.m. on Monday. This weekend, farmers and knitters alike are flocking to Wisconsin's Sheep and Wool Festival. The Jefferson County staple features 4 days packed full with events like fleece shows and fiber art classes. Festival coordinator Hedge Becker says the festival attracts fiber art fans of all types.
It's really everything. I think a lot of people think that, especially the fiber arts, they kind of think of them as a granny kind of craft, and really the younger generations are picking it up. They're social media savvy. You have designers on Instagram with, 30, 40,000 followers and that kind of stuff.
There we go. And that festival was free and runs until tomorrow evening. Well, still to come here at 10, the Trump administration doubling down on threats to send the National Guard to Chicago, how the city is reacting.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10. Moving forward.
Welcome back. There's a consensus from Chicago officials that the federal crackdown on immigration there is imminent. Today kicks off a week-long celebration of Mexican independence. Many community events have been canceled, but one parade went forward as planned. CBS's Jermont Terry reports.
Thousands lined the parade route despite new fears of deportation. Olga Cook is a U.S. citizen, originally from Mexico.
It is a concern every day going out the house and being with my family or my friends.
Scattered in the crowds, volunteers on the lookout for federal agents, each armed with an orange whistle to send a warning if immigration officials showed up. It was a real possibility following President Trump's ominous social media post.
For the president to come out with these threatening words is disgusting.
President Trump has recently zeroed in on Chicago, criticizing crime levels despite state and federal data showing crime in the Windy City is declining. Chicago police recorded the fewest homicides this summer since 1965. Trump has threatened to send the National Guard to Chicago as he did in Washington, D.C. His Guard deployment to California in June was recently ruled illegal by a federal judge. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker expects the Trump administration will use a different playbook in his state.
And part of their kind of nefarious plan is begin with ICE, cause mayhem on the ground, and by doing that, say that there's a need for military troops on the ground to protect ICE.
CBS News has learned the Trump administration is pushing forward with a plan to turn Naval Station Great Lakes, about 50 miles north of Chicago, into an immigration operation staging area. According to an internal government memo obtained by CBS News, the Department of Homeland Security requested roughly 250 agents and 140 vehicles on the base. That internal memo says that federal officials could use that naval base for 30 days. That means the federal crackdown here in Chicago could last for several weeks.
And the latest jobs report by the Bureau of Labor Statistics is out, and the economy added just 22,000 jobs in August, but economists were expecting the economy to add more than 76,000. In addition, the data shows unemployment rose to its highest level in nearly 4 years, from 4.2% to 4.3%. The data together could be an indication that the U.S. labor market is growing stagnant. Friday's data releases first under a new leader at the Bureau. President Trump fired the previous BLS chief for releasing data in July that he described as a scam. Well, moon watchers are in for a treat this weekend. Many people around the world will get a chance to witness a total lunar eclipse. It'll be visible Sunday for folks living in Europe, Asia, Africa, and Australia. A lunar eclipse casts a shadow on the moon and causes the moon to appear red, which is known as a blood moon. Now, for people in North and South America, a different lunar event is taking place, a corn moon. It got this nickname to reflect the season for harvesting corn. Did you know that, Blaze?
I did not, no. And I mean, it's fitting. We're getting obviously closer to when we do start to harvest. So Hopefully the sky conditions will continue to remain quiet. It doesn't look like we really see a whole lot of cloud cover until maybe Monday evening. That's when we could also see some rain. Partly sunny to mostly sunny conditions on Sunday. We are ending this very comfortable weekend. Still on the comfortable side, still fall-like, low to mid 60s. Winds will remain light. We should be in the mid 70s, but we are going to be a little bit cooler than that. Topping out in those low to mid 60s by later tomorrow afternoon, starting out in those upper 30s to low 40s. By the late morning, early afternoon, we're still in the 50s. So it is going to be a bit more of a cooler day. Again, very fall-like, but the warm-up is on the way. Warm-up maybe is a very nice term for what could be happening, because we're only going to get into the 70s. But compared to where we have been, it will certainly feel much warmer, and those 70s are set to stick around throughout all of next week. Even though the 70s do return starting Monday, we're still going to be below average in terms of high temperatures. We should be right around 76. Probably by the time we get into the middle of next week, it'll be down to about 75. So these numbers, how much cooler or warmer than average we could be, will change a little bit, but the takeaway here is we're saying goodbye to the really cold air and we're getting more seasonable. Not only Monday and Tuesday of next week, but Wednesday onwards, even into the following work week. We're not seeing a big warm up, or on the opposite side of that, a big cool down. What we're also continuing to see is maybe this warmer than average trend sticking around through the middle of September. On this graphic, and I've said it before, the darker the colors means the higher the confidence level. So we're sitting at about a 60 to 70% chance of being warmer than average from the 14th through the 20th. Is that by a degree, several degrees? Probably going to be more towards that, maybe a couple of degrees, not several degrees. It looks like we'll likely be easing into more of a mild start to fall than a very hot one, or on the opposite end of that, a very cold one. Now, rain does set to return as we go Monday night through Tuesday, and then continues into Tuesday night into Wednesday. Very light in nature. We're looking at probably a quarter of an inch at best. So even though warmer temperatures are going to be returning, we're not seeing the return of a lot of moisture. And tomorrow, of course, the Packers take on the Detroit Lions up in Lambeau. If you're going up there, it's going to be another perfect day for football. If you're staying home, you can catch that on Channel 3 throughout the afternoon. 70s sticking around all throughout next week, with another chance for some rain by next weekend. I
think we're converting you to the warm train. You took a lot of power there to say that it's going to be a warm-up. I think I'm getting to you. I think your mind is becoming a heat lover. I have really enjoyed these last few days, though. I know. It's been tough to see the 70s return. Yeah. Yeah, but no 80s, no 90s. Now, if we get into that territory, you can practice all the preachings you want. You will never convert me. Okay. 90s and like 70 dew points is not, I'm a wilting flower. I'm not that tough. You know what, my flower, we'll convert you around. I challenge accepted. All Thanks so much, Blaze. Andrew has a recap of the Badgers game later in sports. More good news for Badgers fans. The team was against the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders today and crushed them. Our Andrew Banster was at the game, has all the highlights and reaction from some of the star players.
It wasn't always pretty, but it was a win. And for Luke Fickell, that will work just fine. The Wisconsin Badgers are off to a 2-0 start, thanks in large part to their backup quarterback making his first start as a Wisconsin Badger. Wisconsin took just a 4-point lead into the break. In the first half, they rushed for just 14 yards as a team. So in the second half, they had to turn their attention to some other avenues of offense. Case in point, Vinny Anthony, the wide receiver, he gets the ball, and he is off to the races. A 14-yard touchdown run. That basically unlocked the Badgers' offense. It was a masterclass for Danny O'Neal, throwing for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. Those passing yards, the most by a Badger in his first start at Wisconsin. This one, a bomb to Jaden Ballard, who retrieves it, and makes a house call. 58 yards, and he throws the deuce up, putting the Blue Raiders at an arm's distance. But the Badgers, they wanted more, and so did Danny O'Neal, who went to his tight end Lance Mason early and often. How about 7 catches for 102 yards and a touchdown for number 86, who gets across the goal line and puts Middle Tennessee State to bed. A fantastic finish for the Badger that'll need some cleaning up before Alabama in week 3.
I mean, Danny fires me up, man. I mean, sometimes you forget he's a young guy. The way he's vocal out there and leading the offense, and when things aren't going right, you'll hear it from him, and he gets on you, but he's uplifting. It's that's how you got to be. So I mean, I thought he did great today, even when things weren't going great. We weren't helping him out, and I thought he definitely rode the storm, and I think we got a lot better the second half.
No, I can't praise the guys around me enough. They really did make my job easy all day long. Coach getting us into the right plays, allowing me to check plays at the line, just getting the offense into the right play, and having the trust and everyone around me to do their job, making my job as easy as it could have been.
He had a great week of practice, and part of that was me and his relationship. Like, I felt like we were in a great place going into that game, and we made the same plays in the game as we did in practice. So yeah, just having that confidence and that relationship, it felt good.
As Luke Fickell said, all's well that ends well. It may not have started so well out here, but boy, did it finish well as the Badgers take it 42-10 over Middle Tennessee State. But the real challenge starts now. Games 1 and 2 were supposed to be wins. The rest of the slate, however, is going to be awfully difficult. We'll get to that later and celebrate this win tonight. For now, Andrew Banstra at Camp Randall Stadium for News 3 Sports.
All right, Andrew, thank you. Blaze will be back in with the final check of your forecast when we come back. Finally tonight, one woman in Miami went from being a Phillies fan to being one of the most hated women in America overnight. Oh. Was it justified? On Friday night in the Phillies-Marlins game, a man in the outfield seats, was quick enough to grab the home run ball before a lady could get the ball by her seat. And he went to give the ball to his son, with reports saying it was his son's birthday. But that lady was not having it. She came over to the family, demanded the ball become hers. And after a short discussion, the man gave it to the angry woman. And yeah, this doesn't show the whole thing. Ooh. But yeah, he was just like, okay, like I'll take here. And it's like, come on. Like, I saw Twitter is rallying against her. They're like, let's go. So
I think maybe I'm a lone island in this because my care for sports is as little as it can be. It's just a baseball.
I mean, yeah, but
from her perspective,
both sides.
Yes. Obviously, for the kid, great. You got this home run ball. For the woman, though, just go out and buy a baseball.
Exactly. Yes.
Hey, football tomorrow up in Lambeau. It's going to be beautiful, and then rain moves in starting Monday night.
I'll see you again tomorrow morning on Weekend Mornings.